After the end of the Civil War, America had to face the problems of repairing all the damages the war had brought. Most of the problems were in the South. There was economic devastation, and a new political system needed to be put in place to replace the Confederacy.
Many of the newly free slaves were worried about how they would fit into society. Excuse me, may I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Well, now that you're free, how does it feel?
It feels really great to be free. I feel like I can finally be a human again.
Are you nervous about anything?
I'm a little bit nervous because our economy is in bad shape. I'm also uneasy about how us newly free slaves will make a living and fit into society. Southerners were used to treating us like dirt. Now they are going to have to treat us as citizens of America. I know they won't make it easy for us to fit in.
Thank you.
The North had to decide how to readmit the South into the Union, as well as how to incorporate the freed slaves into the society.
The North decided that people in the South were determined to keep things as they were before the war. This included keeping freedmen in the state as close to slavery as possible. The federal government created the Freedmen's Bureau to help ex-slaves. They monitored the Southern government and treated the South as conquered territory, hoping that the new rights of ex-slaves would be secured.
Although there are Northerners in the South at this time, there still is animosity and hatred from the local white people toward the Northerners and African Americans. Many people in the South tried to deny new freed slaves opportunities and resented the Northerners in the South. The Southerners felt that the Northerners were hurting their way of life.
Here's your looking for a personal seamstress. See, no, this knit is not going to work out. I don't think so. So I have to put it. Okay.
Southerners were so against ex-slaves being a part of the society that they denied them jobs that could have helped out the economy. Southerners really only hired slaves into jobs that required very hard labor. In places in the South like Florida, there was constant violence directed towards federal soldiers, Freedmen Bureau agents, and African Americans. During the summer and fall of 1865, about 16 stabbings and shootings occurred in the eastern Florida parishes. There were also many cases of assault, battery, and intimidation, too. Federal authorities were not able to deal with the rapid violence. They had insufficient manpower and a sluggish bureaucracy. Civil authorities refused to share information from outgoing investigations of crimes that had occurred within federal troops, and only reluctantly responded to federal demands. Most local people did not cooperate with the federal authorities in the wake of the crimes being committed. In the wake of the violence occurring, several paramilitary organizations were formed. During the spring and summer of 1867, Republican organizers formed organizations known as Loyal League Clubs among African Americans in eastern Louisiana. The formation of these groups caused more violence because local people were upset that these groups were being formed. The Loyal League Club in St. Helena Parish was well known among African Americans in the area for protecting other African Americans from racial attacks.
In light of the Reconstruction period, many rebellions and outrages for social and political changes in the United States became much more rapid. One could say that Thomas Turner ignited the rebellions around 1867. Turner brought terror to all the white people by use of mass murder. Suddenly, secret organizations from which the desire to bring an order to all terror and mess formed.
The Knights of the White Camellia controlled the political and economic society into a white supremacy theme. Hence, the elections were usually rough and filled with pressure. The Ku Klux Klan worked with violence and terror within the neighborhoods and social areas of life in the name of white supremacy. Although the two groups tried to distinguish themselves, they both brought fear to all who opposed them, especially the freed slaves.
The motive for the groups to form came from the complete social upheaval the white people were experiencing. No one could come to the same conclusion about what was constitutional or moral. The groups formed to keep the tension from rising. However, it would seem that these groups only manufactured tension within society.